Car design is a bit like fashion. Some looks never go out of style, while others make you wonder what in the world they were thinking. For every automotive masterpiece that turns heads and breaks hearts, there's an absolute monstrosity that leaves you questioning humanity's collective taste. Today, we'll be taking a look at some amazing car designs versus ugliest. Let's start. Jaguar E-Type, Nitten Sextio. When Enzo Ferrari, the guy who practically invented automotive beauty, looks at your car and calls it the most beautiful car ever made, you know you've done something right. The Jaguar E-Type didn't just roll off the production line, it strutted out like it owned every inch of pavement. It's sleek, it's seductive, and it looks faster standing still than most cars do at top speed. Introduced in 1961, the E-Type wasn't just a car, it was Britain's mic drop to the automotive world. That elongated hood looked like it was compensating for something, but whatever it was, compensating for clearly didn't matter, because everyone was too busy drooling over those curves. The silhouette was long, low, and smooth enough to make modern designs look like awkward geometry homework. It wasn't fair that it also packed a snarling inline-six engine that made sure it didn't just look fast, it actually was fast. In an era when most cars still lumbered around like sedans with a midlife crisis, the E-Type was out there breaking speed limits and hearts in equal measure. This wasn't just about performance, though. It was about proving that a car could look like a rolling work of art without sacrificing speed or agility. The interior oozed class, leather, chrome, and just enough switches to make you feel like a fighter pilot. It's no wonder this thing became an instant icon. It's timeless in the way only true legends are. Pontiac Aztek, 2000 to 2005. And then there's the Pontiac Aztek, a car that looks like it lost a bar fight with a hardware store. If the E-Type was a masterclass in elegance, the Aztek was a chaotic art project where every design choice screamed, "That'll do." Released in 2000, the Aztek was supposed to be Pontiac's bold leap into the future of crossovers. Instead, it looked like a minivan, an SUV, and a plastic recycling bin had a very messy love triangle. The front end was confusing, with bulging headlights slapped onto a snout that looked like it was designed by committee, where nobody liked each other. It's as if the designers couldn't decide whether it should be aggressive or approachable, so they just gave up and made it look like both. And the plastic cladding, oh, the cladding. It was practically drowning in unpainted plastic panels, like someone was actively trying to keep it ugly. It didn't help that the back end looked like it got rear-ended by geometry itself. Angles and lines intersected like they were having a disagreement. From some angles, it resembled a refrigerator with wheels. From others, a poorly constructed Lego set. Despite being one of the most reviled designs ever, it somehow clawed its way into ironic nostalgia. Maybe it's the whole Breaking Bad factor, or maybe people just love rooting for an underdog. Whatever the reason, the Aztek has transformed from a universally hated mistake into a favorite for people who just want to be different. But no amount of ironic appreciation can erase the reality. The Aztek was Pontiac's weird, plastic-coated mistake. A car that tried way too hard to be cool and ended up looking like it was wearing all its accessories at once. It wasn't just ugly, it was determinedly, almost aggressively ugly. Ferrari 250 GTO, 1962. If the Jaguar E-Type was automotive seduction, the Ferrari 250 GTO was straight-up art in motion. This thing didn't just dominate racetracks, it made other cars feel bad about themselves just by existing. It's what happens when passion, precision, and pure arrogance collide, and the result is a car so beautiful that collectors today would sell their souls, and probably a few relatives, to get their hands on one. Built between 1962 and 1964, the 250 GTO was Ferrari's ultimate flex. Only 36 were ever made, partly because Ferrari liked to keep things exclusive. and partly because perfection doesn't mass-produce. The sculpted bodywork was basically a symphony of curves, from the iconic long hood to the aggressive haunches that looked ready to pounce. It wasn't just about looking pretty, though. Every line and crease was functional, honed through wind tunnel testing to slice through the air with barely a whisper. The front grille, wide and almost smug, looked like it knew just how much better it was than anything else on the road. And those triple hood vents? Yeah, they weren't just for show. They let the V12 engine breathe fire, unleashing a sound so raw and mechanical it felt like the car was daring you to keep up. Even now, it's the most expensive car ever sold, fetching prices in the tens of millions. And why? Because it's not just a car, it's a statement, a beautiful, aggressive, and unapologetically elite masterpiece. Fiat Multipla, 1998 to 2010. If the Ferrari 250 GTO is a sculpture, the Fiat Multipla is a school project gone horribly wrong. It's like someone tried to design a minivan while actively fighting off a migraine. There's ugly, and then there's whatever this is. Released in 1998, the Multipla was Fiat's bold attempt to make a compact MPV that could seat 6 people comfortably. It succeeded, if by comfortably you mean making everyone inside reconsider their life choices. The design philosophy seemed to be, what if a frog mated with a spaceship? The result was a bulging, bloated mess that looked perpetually confused about its own identity. Let's start with that split-level windshield. It's like the car was squinting, one set of headlights low, and another set bizarrely perched on the hood, giving it a double-chinned look that no amount of confidence could ever justify. From the side, it resembled an awkward loaf of bread with windows, and the rear, it looked like it was trying to back out of its own design. Inside, it was actually pretty practical. Tons of space, a 3-abreast seating arrangement in the front, and plenty of headroom. But practicality doesn't excuse looking like the automotive version of a mutant toad. Somehow, Fiat managed to make a car that looked both bloated and squashed at the same time, like it was mid-transformation into something slightly less unfortunate. Ironically, the Multipla developed a bit of a following among people who appreciate its unapologetic weirdness. It's almost charming in the way that only a truly ugly dog can be. You love it, but you're also kind of embarrassed by it. Fiat eventually toned down the design in later years, which only made the original look even more unhinged by comparison. Aston Martin DB5, 1963. If cars had charm school, the Aston Martin DB5 would be the headmaster. This is the automotive equivalent of a tailored tuxedo. Classy, refined, and effortlessly cool. Introduced in 1963, the DB5 wasn't just a car, it was a British-style icon on wheels. It has that signature long hood, elegant curves, and just enough chrome accents to let you know it's posh without screaming about it. But let's be honest, this car could have just existed as a beautiful high-end grand tourer, and that would have been enough. Then James Bond got behind the wheel, and suddenly, the DB5 wasn't just a car anymore. It was the automotive embodiment of license to kill. One minute it's cruising through the English countryside, the next it's firing machine guns and ejecting unwanted passengers. Even without the gadgets, the DB5 looked dangerous in the best possible way. The grille alone looked like it could slice through your bank account, while those wire-spoke wheels added just the right amount of old-school sophistication. The interior? Leather everywhere, with polished wood and a dash layout that whispered, "You can't afford this." It features a 4.0-liter straight-six engine, giving it just enough punch to back up those looks. But the real power came from its aura, because let's face it, half the reason people worship this car is because Sean Connery made it look like the coolest thing on earth. The DB5 didn't just set the standard for Aston Martin, it set the standard for every luxury grand tourer that followed. It's timeless. It's iconic, and it's a rolling reminder that elegance never goes out of style. AMC Pacer, 1975 to 1980. If awkwardness were an Olympic sport, the AMC Pacer would have taken home the gold, silver, and bronze. This car wasn't just ugly. It was a design tantrum on wheels. Introduced in 1975, the Pacer was supposed to be futuristic and daring, but it ended up looking like a goldfish bowl on roller skates. AMC wanted to create a small, wide car to maximize interior space without sacrificing stability. Instead, they built something that looked perpetually bloated, like it was allergic to itself. The windshield curved around like it was trying to escape the car, while the bubble-like glass made it feel like you were trapped inside a mobile terrarium. The thing was wider than most mid-sized sedans of its time, making it look squashed and stretched simultaneously. And let's not ignore that rear end. It sloped down like it just gave up halfway through the design process. It was as if the stylists thought, well, we made the front look weird. Might as well keep that energy going all the way to the back. The interior was shockingly spacious, thanks to that wide stance, but it didn't matter because no one wanted to be seen inside it. The dashboard looked like it was assembled from leftover parts, and the whole vibe screamed 1970s disco disaster. To make matters worse, it wasn't particularly fast or powerful, just sluggish and weird, like a turtle that gave up on life. The Pacer became a punchline almost immediately. People wanted to love its oddball charm, but it was just too much to handle. Ironically, it's become a classic purely because of how bizarre it is, like that one relative who's so strange you can't help but be fond of them. Porsche 911, 1964 to present. The Porsche 911 is the automotive equivalent of that one friend who never ages and somehow gets cooler every year. First hitting the streets in 1964, the 911 has spent over half a century proving that you don't mess with perfection. You just tweak it occasionally to remind everyone why it's the boss. That silhouette is as iconic as it gets. Smooth, sleek, and instantly recognizable, even if you're just glancing at it from a mile away. It's got that unmistakable teardrop shape with the sloping roofline, rounded headlights that almost look smug, and that curvaceous rear end that says, "Yeah, I'm fast. Deal with it." And let's not forget the signature rear-engine layout, a concept that probably shouldn't work, but somehow makes this car handle like a scalpel on twisty roads. The best part? The 911 doesn't bow to trends. While other cars go through midlife crises and drastic makeovers, the 911 just refines itself, evolves without losing its soul. It's like the rock star who never stops being cool, even when everyone else is busy getting weird tattoos and experimenting with synth pop. Even as tech advanced, Porsche kept the cockpit simple, everything within reach, everything intuitively laid out. It's a space that respects your need to feel connected to the road, not just coddled with screens and gadgets. Of course, it's not just about looking good. The 911's performance is legendary. From the classic air-cooled screamers to the modern turbocharged monsters, it's always been about blending precision with pure driving pleasure. The 911's continued evolution without losing its essence is a rare feat. While other sports cars come and go, the 911 just keeps being the gold standard, the one that every pretender wishes it could be. SsangYong Beauties, 2004 to 2013. Some cars are born ugly. Some cars achieve ugliness. And then there's the SsangYong Rodius, which had ugliness thrust upon it by every possible design choice. This South Korean minivan looks like it was designed by a committee of people who hated each other. The Rodius came out in 2004 with one mission: to be a spacious, family-friendly MPV. Mission accomplished, but at the cost of every ounce of dignity a car could possibly have. It looks like three different vehicles got into a fight and then melted together. The front end tries to be imposing but just looks swollen, while the back end looks like a yacht grafted onto a van. And the roofline? It's like someone accidentally sat on a model clay prototype and just went with it. This thing is a visual catastrophe from every angle. The headlights look misplaced, the grille looks confused, and the entire shape is just wrong. It's almost impressive how nothing about the Rodius aligns with human taste. The designers claimed the inspiration was a luxury yacht. Yeah, maybe if that yacht was also a dumpster fire. Inside, it's not much better. Sure, it's roomy and it technically functions as a people carrier, but you'd have to bribe your friends to be seen inside one. Even the most practical of buyers couldn't ignore the fact that they were essentially piloting an automotive eyesore. Naturally, the Rodius became infamous almost immediately. Critics tore it apart, and the public treated it like a practical joke. Somehow, it still sold reasonably well, because practicality sometimes trumps pride. But the world collectively agreed that it was one of the ugliest cars ever made, and it still holds that title proudly, because, honestly, nothing's really come close since.